All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Podcast That 2.0. My name is Brian. I am your host. Happy Friday today. I don't know. We're in Southern California. We've got fires burning far away, but ash is settling here in Irvine. And now we've got rain, but it's hot. It's a very warm wind. And now it's raining. So we're going to see what this weekend brings. But on to today's topic. How long do podcasts last? And not necessarily how long do they last, but because there's people that have been podcasting for a long time, 10 plus years. And, they're in the, thousands of episodes, which is really, really cool. But the majority of shows aren't that. So I am copying a link right now, and I'm going to throw it in the chat so everybody who's watching this later can take a peek at what I'm looking at. And these are Apple Podcast statistics from podcastindustryinsights.com. And this just covers those shows listed in Apple, which isn't every show. Your exclusive Spotify shows are not here. Shows that choose not to register their show with Apple are not here. These are just shows that are registered through Apple. So the numbers may vary from other statistics you've heard. Like the total index I hear is up over 4 million now. But on Apple Podcasts, there is 2,473,034 shows in the Apple directory. So of that 2,473,034 shows, how many are being added and how many are being removed? Now, the reason I'm covering this today is I've had people ask, how long do podcasts go? How, do pod fade is a big concern with people that are a little nervous about starting a show. And, they've done enough research online so they understand the term pod fade and what that is. So here on this website, again, the link is in the chat below. This can give you either daily or monthly. I have mine triggered to monthly additions and removals. So for this month to date, they've added 6,103 new shows, but they've removed 38,958. Now, what causes Apple to remove a show? I don't know. Is it a dead feed? Were they removed by the user? I've pulled old shows off of Apple that I no longer want in the index. So, there could be several reasons, but it's kind of crazy when you switch to daily. September 1st, there were 801 shows added and removed, astonishing number, 32,185 shows on that single day. So it seems like they're removing more than they're adding. However, that's not the big picture. They obviously don't want to show a huge deficit in shows being removed because that might, reflect poorly on Apple. So it seems that they're always, adding more shows than they're removing, except for these anomalies that do occur from time to time. For example, September 3rd, there were 448 shows added, 4,072 removed. But the majority of the other days, many more are added than removed. But as you scroll down this page, they have a 90-day activity pie chart. And this is kind of mind-blowing to me. Inactive podcasts in the last 90 days, meaning they have not produced an episode in 90 days, is 81.52% of that almost 2.5 million. 18.48% of the shows have published at least one episode in the last 90 days. So it seems that the majority of podcasters, if you want to call them that, aren't even producing content. As you scroll down a little farther, they have latest activity windows, and this is a bar chart. So The number of shows that have produced an episode in the last 7 days is only 136,134. I mean, that's nothing compared to the total count that they're reporting. And it kind of trails from there. In the last 30 days, 8 to 30 days, 171,843 shows published at least an episode. I'm just going to skip a few of these because there's no reason in going through all of them. Again, if you want to see it, head down to chat if you're on Bullhorn and click on the link. If you're not on Bullhorn, head on over to Bullhorn, create a free account, and check it out as a player and platform for live streaming. But in the last 1 to 2 years, 844,206 shows. I mean, it's kind of mind blowing. The last chart I like to look at are available episodes. Shows that have one episode available is 25% of that 2.5 million. That's, again, mind blowing. 10 plus episodes is only 39%, a little over 39.15. So why I like to refer to this chart and why I talk to potential customers about this is planning your show out and having a system to plan each episode out is critical, because if you're waiting and not planning and now, oh crap, I got to do a show tomorrow, what am I going to talk about? You're most likely going to be a show that does hit pod fade and stops producing, which is a shame, especially if you've invested money in equipment and you've invested time and energy into this product of podcasting, and then you suffer from pod fade and go away. So that's why I discuss this. And when it comes to planning, I've worked with potential customers, and it's like, great. I love the concept of your show. I love what you want to do with it. I love the reactions you want to get from your customers from listening to your content. Now let's start thinking of episodes. What can we do episodes about? And I've actually had a person start struggling about the 5th episode, and they could think off the top of their head 7 episodes that they wanted to record. And then on the other hand, I've done that same exercise with a customer, and within 3-4 minutes, they've had 32 ideas. That's 32 weeks of content if you're dropping consistently weekly. That's almost, it's over half a year. That's a lot of content to push through the developmental phase. Coming up with a concept is number 1. Researching and developing a title for it is number 2. Describing it once you've recorded it is number 3. Actually recording it, writing a script or game plan or bullet pointed list of things you want to cover. These are all things that are associated with planning an episode. And you do this week after week after week. So having a system to do this is paramount. And whether it's pen and paper, a notebook, it's got to be something that you can open up and jot down quickly. I personally use app-based products that have a web component to it, so I can open it up on my big screen and see it, and or on my phone. So if I'm talking to somebody out in the public and I'm like, oh man, you would be a great guest on my podcast, would you like to come on? Yeah. Well, let me jot down this idea and get your contact information. We'll get a recording session set up. And now it's in my phone, and I can forget about it, go on about my day, have fun with the wife, do whatever we do. And then Monday, when I come back to work, I open up my computer. I'm like, oh, yeah, I need to email this guy. It's not going to get forgotten. And it's a show concept, an episode concept, I should say, that needs further development. And now it's in my system, and I can push that through. And, whether you wrote an Access database or you're using an Airtable or you're using Notion or whatever system you use, just make sure you use it consistently, and make sure these things are a box that needs to be checked, from concept to researching show title to prepping your questions if you're interviewing somebody, or at least bullet pointing out talking points, keyword research for your tags, That's paramount. And that should, all of that should be done with the exception of maybe describing it because, we're podcasters. We might start down one road and make a left turn and be talking about something else, but it was gold. So we want to keep it. So once all that's done, now it's time to record. Once it's recorded, now we need to edit it. Once it's edited, we can finish that description and we can get it published. And whether you're outsourcing some, any, all of this, that's cool. But having a consistent system so nothing gets forgotten, you remember your tags, you remember episode art or chapter art if you're doing chapter art. Everything is remembered and you're delivering a consistent product week after week. That's going to grow your show. That's going to make your show stand out from others. I've worked with customers who have walked in 15 minutes before their episode and they're still working on their talking points. And to me, that shows their level of commitment, which is strange because they're paying us well to help produce their show. And they're not as prepared as they should be, in my opinion, as they should be. Other people are like, yeah, I think I'm going to talk about this today, no notes, and they can just go because they're so well versed in that subject matter. They are subject matter experts. And as long as they don't derail and they stay on track, they can get away with that time after time after time. However, most people cannot. And there has to be some sort of planning, preparation in place. And I encourage you to develop whatever system works for you. When customers come to us, we don't force them to conform to what we do. We get an understanding of their system and we comply to it. That way, there's less of a learning curve for them having to migrate what they've been doing most likely for years over to how we like to do business. Sometimes it runs in parallel. We'll take their system and dump it into ours because we're comfortable with it. And as long as we continually update it, we're fine. And, we do that with more than one customer. But that way it's in a system we know things are cataloged, categorized, links are where they should be. Just last week, I had a customer go, man, I really wish we had a list of episodes. I'll email that to you 5 minutes after we're done recording here. And I can go to our system and I can export that as a CSV, save it as an XSLX file, Excel, and throw a little formatting on it, and boof, they've got a beautiful list of titles, descriptions, tags, guests, dates, link to each and every episode. And that's because we use a system. We have to. We've got multiple people working here at Sitch Radio producing multiple shows. Some production teams are as large as 4 people outside of us, outside of our internal team working on their show. And others are just, the host. They're a solopreneur, if you will, and they are paying us to help with production to offset, the time they're spending producing each show. So having that system, very, very important. We don't want you to become one of these statistics. We don't want you being one of the shows that's being removed from any index at all. We are here to help people tell their stories, not tell them how we want them to do business. So if you have any questions about this or would like to see some of the systems we use, reach out to us. You can go to sitchradio.com, SITCH radio.com. Up in the top right main menu, you'll see contact us and you can book a free 20-minute consultation. We'd be more than happy to talk to you about your project and help you get it off the ground and on the internet via RSS and or video productions, live or recorded and edited. We are here to help you tell your story. I hope you all have a wonderful day and enjoy your weekend.